The history of the Rains Entry Day. The Rains Entry Day is the first day where Buddhist monks dwell permanently at a suitable place throughout the rainy season, starting from the first day of the 8th waning moon until the 15th day of the 11th waxing moon, for a period of 3 months. Before the Lord Buddha legislated the rains retreat for the monks, they used to make a pilgrimage all throughout the cold, hot, and rainy seasons. This caused the inhabitants to criticize and find fault with the monks for having made a pilgrimage all throughout the cold, hot, and rainy seasons, causing so much damage to the vegetation and killed so many small animals. The monks had heard how the people were criticizing and finding fault with them, so they brought the subject to the Lord Buddha. The Lord Buddha considered the situation and then said to the monks, "Behold, monks, from now on, we allow you to dwell in one place during the rainy season. There are 2 rains entry days. The first is Purimika, the first rains entry day. It means the day after the full moon day of Asalaha, which signifies the first rains entry day, and falls on the first day of the 8th waning moon. The second is Pachimika, the last rains entry day. It means 1 month after the Asalaha, which falls on the first day of the 9th waning moon." Once the rains entry day begins, the monks must dwell in one place for the entire 3 months and cannot stay overnight anywhere else. There is an exception to the rule, which allows an overnight stay elsewhere. This is called Sattaha Karaniya, which means when there is a matter of necessity, a 7-day temporary stay elsewhere is allowed, as in the following example. There was once a lay devotee named Udain. He had a temple built for the monks in the suburb of Kosol. At one point, he had a wish to offer alms, listen to the Dhamma, and meet with the monks. So he sent a servant to request the monks' presence at his house. The servant went to the monks with his request, but the monks did not come as invited because it was during the rains retreat and they could not stay overnight elsewhere. The servant returned to report the situation to the lay devotee. It caused him to criticize the monks. "They did not come as requested, in spite of the fact that I am a lay devotee. I've built a temple and supported the Sangha all along." The criticism had been relayed to the monks, so they told the Lord Buddha about it. For that reason, the Lord Buddha allowed an exception. When it is a matter of necessity, a temporary stay of 7 days elsewhere is allowed. There are 5 matters of necessity as follows. First, a lay devotee wishes to offer alms and listen to the Dhamma and sent someone to make a request. The Lord Buddha made an allowance only when there was a request. Where there is no request, it is not considered an exception. Second, when a fellow monk or novice becomes ill, terribly anxious, having wrong views, risks committing a religious offense, and wants to purify himself according to the Dhamma discipline, this is considered an exception. Third, when a novice wishes to become an ordained monk and needs the presence of other monks. Fourth, a monk can visit his parents, siblings, or relatives when they become ill. Fifth, to perform the Sangha's business, such as finding building materials to fix the temple when it needs repair. When an unexpected event occurs and does not allow a rains retreat to continue in the same place, the monks are allowed to forgo it and to stay elsewhere. Such events include: first, when the monk is disturbed by wild beasts. Second, when there is a robbery. Third, when there is a fire or flood at the temple. Fourth, when inhabitants are bothered by thieves or robbers and decide to move away, the monk is allowed to go with them. Or if the inhabitants are divided into two camps, he is allowed to go with the majority. But if the majority has no faith in Buddhism, he is allowed to go with the minority. Fifth, when there is a shortage of food or medicine, or lay individuals to support the Buddhist faith, the monk is allowed to leave. Sixth, when someone tries to tempt the monk to disrobe by offering him land, wealth, and a daughter, he is allowed to leave the area. Seventh, when there is a possible division of the monks, or someone is trying to make it happen, or the division has already occurred, he is allowed to go and alleviate the situation. The place for the rains retreat should be conducive to the Dharma practice. For example, it shouldn't be too far or too close to the community. It should have access to easy communication. It shouldn't have a lot of traffic during the day. It should be quiet and peaceful at night. It should be devoid of any disturbance. It should be a place conducive to monks who desire solitude and peace. Certain places for the rains retreat are allowed under special circumstances. For example, when a monk is traveling with a cattle herder along the herder route, or with a band of wagons or by boat, in order to reach a certain destination. During the trip, if it happens to fall on the rains entry day, the monk can spend the rains retreat en route. When the cattle herder, the band of wagons, or the passenger boat continues on course, the monk is allowed to continue his journey by making a vow, Itavasan Upemi, which means I am spending my rains retreat here. When the monk reaches his place of destination, he is allowed to spend the rest of the rains retreat there. Should the place of his destination not be reached because the cattle herder, the band of wagons, or the passenger boat comes to an end of the trip, the monk is allowed to spend the rest of the rains retreat at the particular place. Such conduct does not violate the legislation. The Lord Buddha forbade spending the rains retreat in inappropriate places such as, first, in the hollow of a tree, as the monk might be mistaken for a demon. Second, on a branch of a tree, as the monk might be mistaken for a hunter. Third, in an open space, as when it rains, the monk would need to run for shelter in the hollow of a tree or under a building. and this doesn't look proper and is considered an inappropriate conduct for a monk. Fourth, a place without a bed, that is, a sitting and sleeping area without adequate protection from the elements, making it impossible to practice the Dhamma. Fifth, in a ghost haunt or a hut in a corpse yard built in the old days, as the monk might be mistaken for an undertaker. Sixth, beneath an umbrella or in a tent, as the monk might be mistaken for a cattle herder. Seventh, in the water vessel, as the monk might be mistaken for a heretic. We've now learned something about the history of the Rains and Tree Day. The real purpose of the Rains retreat is to allow the monks and novices more time to practice meditation. As ladies and gentlemen devotees, we can determine the boundaries of our Rains retreat by concentrating on the seventh base at the center of our being. Let's keep our mind still within its perimeter at all times, and we will attain the Dhammakaya within this Rains retreat.